Hello everyone, today I would like to show you something which is really interesting. So here in this metal box we have an equipment which is called the ignition pressure gauge for marine diesel engines. This type of pressure gauge is actually called the Premax type pressure gauge. The reason why it's called like this, I will talk about it later. So this gauge here, I believe it should be originally equipped on a submarine. The reason I will also tell you later. So first let's put it aside and let me clarify some important parameters of the cylinder pressures in a diesel engine. So now here we have two simple diagrams. This line here indicates the top dead center of the piston, and here is the bottom dead center of the piston. The stroke is the distance between those two center points, and the working volume of the cylinder is expressed in this equation here, which is really simple forward. So I believe you are also familiar with the diesel cycle pressure volume diagram, or we can express the volume as the surface area here comes with the stroke length we just talked about, right? So actually here we can think about it like this is a stroke or the piston displacement, right? So what is the indicate pressure? Indicate pressure is that you average out this line, the pressure, the gas work done on this line in the cylinder. You average it out on the piston displacement line, like maybe some position here. The basic precaution you will remember is that after the averaging of the expansion process pressure, the work should be the same, okay? But this indicate power, the indicate pressure times with the volume, working volume, is not the actual mechanic power you can obtain from the engine. That is because there are some mechanic frictions, and also here we didn't consider about the negative compression work done in the compression stroke. Okay, so what is the maximum pressure in a cylinder? Obviously it should be the pressure here, right? So how can we measure that? So in marine diesel engines, usually we will have like the indicate cock or the indicate valve like this on a cylinder. Okay, this is the cylinder head on a two-stroke marine diesel engine, and here is the indicate valve. And we will have some gauge like this. This is also a maximum pressure gauge. It can only measure the maximum pressure inside the cylinder, since this type of gauge is equipped with a non-return ball valve something at the position here. Okay, and a detailed description of such a gauge can be seen in the description link, and I will also put a link from YouTube. Someone else posted how they can actually take the pressure during the engine operation. So if you are interested in that, you can take a look. And also, during the measurement, this type of maximum pressure gauge should be connected to the indicate valve like this. This is a safety valve integrated onto a indicate valve. Okay, it's very directly forward for you to see. Okay, now let's come back to our gauge today. So first I will take this thing out. However, I have disassembled the 4 screws. Okay, so it might not be too easy for me. Okay, well, excuse me. I'll take it out now. Alright. Okay. So, first maybe we should just look at the gauge. It's very heavy. Like, I think it should be like 2 kilograms or 3 kilograms. So this counter here is reading in pound square inch. Okay. Now it has been set to 0 position. This is the 0 position. Another 0, but the maximum spring length. Okay. Let me disassemble this part. Okay. Here is actually where it connects to the indicate cock. Alright. It's actually very similar to something like this here. You can see, right? Okay, so and here is a ball piston. You can see a ball there. Inside this metal part here, there is no springs or something else, but the actual spring which loaded on this ball piston here is inside this gauge itself, and you can see here is a push rod which has a spherical surface here, which will match onto this ball piston here, and you can see the carbon deposit build up there because of the leaking gas from the ball piston and the cylinder here. Oh, alright, so okay, we can read. This is YRF model Premax pressure indicator. So now let's talk about the fact that why I say this is a maximum pressure gauge. So basically, this is how you will use it. Okay. This here I will magnify it. I believe the name Premax comes from the fact that you should set the pressure reading here like 100 pound square inch larger than the assumed pressure, maximum pressure you will measure in the cylinder. I believe the name comes from that. And so the fact that one, we just measure the maximum pressure using the Premax gauge or that gauge I have shown you here is because that no matter if the engine is an auxiliary, generator, prime mover on like a cargo ship or a submarine main engine, they both run at like several hundred RPMs, right? Like maybe the generator, prime mover should be at 750 RPM, and I believe the submarine engine should be like maybe 400, 500, 600, something like that. So in such a high revolution, if you want to use the original indicator, I mean the type of a mechanic indicator which you can obtain a pressure volume diagram from the cylinder. If you want to measure the pressure like that, the indicate valve, because it has a really small gas channel for the pressure to come from the cylinder into the indicator, this channel will induce a quite large lag between the actual position of the piston and the pressure you measured at the inlet of your indicator. So this lag will induce some misunderstand in the diagram. You understand, right? So in a high revolution engine, usually like above 300 revolutions per minute, we won't use the indicator to draw a cylinder pressure diagram. But there is some special equipment which uses a vibration detector, and you can mount the vibration detector on the cylinder head, and there is a pressure gauge you can use. That electric equipment will, how do you say it in English? It will fix, or it will induce some precaution inside itself to eliminate the difference between the actual cylinder pressure and the pressure you measured at the inlet port of the gauge. Okay. But I haven't seen that being in use in reality. I just saw the advertisement of such an equipment. So I believe this is the reason why they equip such a peak pressure gauge on a submarine. And however, I believe, I don't know if nowadays they still use such a gauge. If someone knows about that, please tell me. Thanks. And I will also put a link in the description of some marine engineer use the indicator I just talked about to obtain a cylinder pressure and the cylinder volume diagram in the description here. And that's a favorite video of mine. And at last, at the end of the video, I just want to tell you that I really love these WD-40 Specialist sprays. This is penetrant. This really helps me to unlock the screws. However, this is not an ad, of course. This is not an ad. I just really love this one here. And it cleans the heavy fuel deposit on these parts. You can see really helps a lot. And I also recommend the corrosion inhibitor. This is actually a vapor corrosion inhibitor. You just spray on the metal parts. It can last up to 2 years in there, just here. But this is not an ad. I just love them. Alright, so thanks for watching today, and hope you learn something new in this video.